Hey guys, it's Dennis here with Revog Games. I'm joined by.
Joshua Weyers, all the way in South Africa.
Yeah, it's been a while since we've shot one of these. It's been almost 2 weeks, I think, for a
Yeah.
podcast. Yeah, I mean nothing huge has come out in the past 2 weeks. A lot of medium-sized news that we'll cover here today, but yeah, everything's been pretty quiet on both the game release and the news front. Yeah. What about you? You
It's
see
been
anything?
quiet,
Yeah.
man. It has been quiet. Even like in terms of game releases, I don't think there's been anything like too big that I think there may have been something like about a week ago, but like
Well, the
yeah,
biggest thing, which
even
we'll talk about, is
yeah.
the Lego Star Wars game. That was like the biggest
Oh, that's right.
release.
That's what got released. Yeah.
Hmm.
I was thinking of getting that because I've heard well, I haven't looked at reviews, but everybody I know who's
It's
played
very
it has
positive.
loved it.
Very
I was gonna
positive.
say, yeah. Everybody I know who has like their
Yeah.
hands on the game is really enjoying it, and they say it's a big level up from any of the other Lego games that they've ever played,
Hmm.
which are usually like quite casual, and this is still casual, but like it looks fun. I think that's the main thing going for it. That it looks really
It's
fun.
very expansive too. I mean, it's covering all 9,
I thought you said expensive. I was like, it's
no,
not that
expansive,
expensive.
all 9
Expansive,
games.
yeah.
Remember, like the Lego Star Wars games used to be like, one particular, like, oh, this is Return of the Jedi one. This is blah blah blah, and it's like, no, this
Yeah.
is all of them.
The whole yeah, and it's like a rework. I thought because when they first announced it, I thought it was just going to be like a bundle.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Of like all games already done or like a
Yeah.
remaster or something. But no, this is a ground up, like it's its whole own thing. You know what I mean? What I do like is I was watching a friend stream the game, and when he started it, it gives you the choice to either start with episode 4 or episode 1.
Hmm.
You can't start anywhere else, but you can either start episode 4 or episode 1. It gives you the choice. So you can do it in the order of release or the chronological order or
Makes
however
sense.
you want to do it.
Makes
Yeah.
sense. And we'll talk about more about that, but actually, let's talk about this one's kind of a more of a general thing, and we've been talking about this a lot, but I just want to cover it in more of the aspect of this. So, Sony, we know, had recently acquired Bungie. A lot of speculation going into what will be exclusive, what won't be exclusive, because apparently they're going to stay multi-platform, but perhaps some new IP that they create in the future won't be. And so Sony Interactive Entertainment President Jim Ryan said in a podcast that Sony plans on investing more into more studios. And so this isn't the last.
What studios?
Yeah, that's the question. So
What's left, man?
they acquired 5 studios in 2021. Bungie being the biggest one, even though that one is technically this year, and also I don't
Yeah.
think it's finalized yet. But
Here's the thing as well. It seems like they're also planning way ahead as well, because they keep investing into Epic more and more and more. They keep
Yes.
investing into Epic, and like they have lately said, it's been more to like help build their metaverse in the future.
Mhm.
I thought it was going to be more of a thing of bringing PlayStation exclusives onto the Epic Game Store, possibly, or bringing out more PC releases. Or I thought it was going to go along that route, but it seems like we're even way off more into the future. I may have to do more with their PSVR stuff or more metaverse related stuff. But they
Mhm.
have been investing a lot in that. I Wait, didn't they just acquire another studio recently? I feel like we covered it in the last podcast.
I
could be
think
wrong,
so,
though.
but it was a smaller one. I think it was a smaller.
Yeah, but it was one that I totally called because it makes sense for them to acquire Japanese studios. Oh, that's right. God, FromSoftware would be a major acquisition for them. They didn't do it, but
Yes.
that's what we spoke about. Yeah,
Yeah,
that would
so
be such a good
that's the
acquisition for them.
rumor going around. I don't know how solid that rumor is. Well, obviously there's a bunch of names being bandied around, right? They're talking about Sega. They're talking about Bandai
Pretty much
Namco.
all the Japanese companies.
Yes,
Yeah.
Bandai Namco.
Those are all up for nabs.
Capcom.
Mhm.
So FromSoftware would be one as well. I mean, FromSoftware, I think Bandai Namco is their publisher, but as like a developer,
Yeah.
I think they're their own. Now, if they did acquire FromSoftware, they definitely have a good relationship with them. They had Bloodborne was a PlayStation exclusive. which by the way is you can get at Best Buy right now for $10. I've never played it. Like I said, I've never played any Souls game except for Elden Ring, but I may pick this up for $10. The greatest hits at Best Buy.
Oh hell yeah, man!
10
I
bucks.
was gonna say I
Did you ever play Bloodborne?
I played Bloodborne. I played the shit out of Bloodborne.
Okay.
I was gonna say Bloodborne is an impeccable game that you need to get your dodge rolls good in that game, man. Yeah, I say I've never finished that game before because it is for me too difficult. But like maybe going back after like hundreds of hours of Elden Ring, I might be able to, because like I did okay with Dark Souls 2 as well.
There's 3 games that I kind of I'm interested in after finishing Elden. Look, I still have another like 20 hours of Elden Ring, even though I've already put in 120, almost 120 hours. But the 3 that I'm most interested in are Bloodborne, Sekiro Dies Twice, or was it Sekiro Shadow Dies Twice?
Sekiro, yeah, I think something like that. But that is also a great game. I would say
and Demon Souls 3. Those are the 3 that I'm most interested in.
The Dark Souls, Demon Souls was its own thing, or it was like an original.
Sorry, Demon Souls 3.
sequel.
Demon Souls 3 is the one I'm interested in.
You mean Dark Souls 3? There's only Demon Souls.
Okay, sorry, Dark Souls 3 then.
Yeah, but I was gonna say, dude, Sekiro is an amazing game. I would start with that one, in my opinion.
I might just pick up Bloodborne just for the $10, you know. So it's not like it's ever gonna be on Game Pass or something like that. So.
True, yeah. Bloodborne is a great game. I would say Sekiro is a bit easier, but Sekiro is great for it's all about the parry. Sekiro all about the parry, Bloodborne all about the roll. Okay. So it's like that's the best way of putting it. I think Bloodborne's a bit more difficult than Sekiro, but I think you'd enjoy Sekiro just because you enjoyed Ghost of Tsushima, and it is very similar. The parrying is very similar. It's just a much shorter window. Okay. It's very similar the way that the game kind of works in that sense. So I think you'd really enjoy it.
I think what I'll probably do is pick up Bloodborne for the $10, put it on the back burner, and then just buy Sekiro and play that. But anyways, what kind of impact do you think Sony would make if let's just specifically talk about FromSoftware and then own this Elden Ring IP? I mean, that would definitely, this is the hottest game right now.
Oh yeah,
like
and any sequel in the future would be huge. Like if Elden Ring 2, if there was going to be an Elden Ring 2, or maybe they make a whole, I think they will. They're gonna capitalize off of this, like the lore and everything. It's so rich. Yeah. There's multiple endings to it. It seems like it's the kind of thing where I don't think they're gonna be like get George R.R. Martin to make more of it. I feel like the basis is there. The world is there. They can do their own thing. FromSoftware has done amazing stuff in the past with their own lore, so it makes sense. But yeah, an Elden Ring 2 would be huge. That would be, if consoles are still a thing when that game comes out, it would be a console seller,
Yes. So I guess that's the thing is like, could I see it happening? Yes, I could. Since they already have that relationship, and Sony definitely needs some more developers in their fold. But that's the one thing I'm wondering, though. If they do purchase them, I don't know if it'd be an exclusive. That's my guess. I think that it would be a Bungie-like deal where, remember how we mentioned that actually Sony buying Bungie wasn't so much of a offensive move, but it was more of a defensive move. Like it was like blocking Microsoft from getting that, buying them and being exclusive, but not so much getting that exclusive for themselves. It was like, no, you can't get that exclusive, but it's still going to be multi-platform. I'm wondering if a FromSoftware would be a similar type of purchase, because I wouldn't believe that they would want to make, especially after Elden Ring success and everything. Like, I just can't see Elden Ring being, exclusive.
I couldn't see that. You know what, Dennis? I think we both said the same thing about the Elder Scrolls 6.
That's true.
And Starfield.
No, Starfield though. I guessed right that it was going to be
Elder Scrolls 6 though. I really thought that was not going to be like, I could see them doing it, but I could see them making so much more money by not making it exclusive. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, regardless of whatever the hell console wars are going to be like in the future, if they're even a thing with cloud gaming, who knows really what's going to be happening moving forward, like 10 years from now.
But I'm just wondering if a developer like FromSoftware that likes their freedom and likes to do what they want to do would go the Bungie route. We're like, no, we're not going to sell. If you want to buy us, then we have to have this clause that we can develop for multi-platforms. You know,
I think that they would. I think that they would do that, but I'm sure that they would still work with Sony to do like some form of exclusive, not maybe like game exclusive, but like in-game exclusive items. You know how like the horrible Avengers game had like PlayStation had that Spider-Man exclusive.
Spider-Man was exclusive. That's because Sony has the Spider-Man license.
Exactly, but like things like that, you know what I mean? Like they could do like, I don't think that like FromSoftware, like if they're smart, they get FromSoftware, but I don't think that would acquire them. I think that they're probably more eyeballing like slightly bigger dogs in terms of like, I mean, right now name recognition FromSoftware is huge, but in terms of companies and like how large they are, how big they are, and what they've done, I definitely see them eyeballing Capcom and Bandai Namco.
Well, they have more IPs. FromSoftware, they do have the IPs that we mentioned before, but none of them are huge. I mean, I'd probably say like Dark Souls is besides Elden Ring, because Elden Ring is kind of a new thing, but before Elden Ring, Dark Souls was probably the most well known. But even then, it's still all of those games were widely loved by hardcore fans, but they were not, Elden Ring's the one that's like, oh, the casual gaming fan knows about it. A lot of people like myself, that was our first Souls type game, was Elden Ring. So
True.
Elden Ring is now like this big thing, but you're right. FromSoftware they're not a big behemoth like Ubisoft or Capcom or Bandai, where it's like, oh, they've got all these different franchises that are going at the same time. They kind of like work on one game at a time, and then it releases, and then they move to another franchise. You know what I mean? It's not like all these different IPs going at once.
Oh, while we're on the topic, because I have a small bit of news regarding Bandai Namco while we're at I believed Nintendo hired them to do an unannounced remaster. We only know this because of job listings, but people are speculating it could be numerous things. It could be Banjo-Kazooie. People are thinking of Banjo-Kazooie. That's like the first thing they're thinking of. A bunch of it's Nintendo IP. It's old Nintendo IP that there is getting a remaster. Some people are speculating Banjo-Kazooie, but because it's Bandai Namco, like for all the games that I've seen them do and that they're attached to doing, there's no like specific genre or style. It's all over the place. It could be anything. I mean, because also of the ties, and I'm not too sure about their studio specifically. Like, for instance, I guess Capcom has more of an involvement in Tekken, but I don't know. Interesting to see what it's going to be. People are assuming it's going to be a dead IP. It's going to be like a dead IP. It's not going to be something that there's current games of. Like Kirby just got a new game. It's not that. Mario's always getting new games. It's not that. It's not going to be. I don't think it's going to be Star Fox, because there was a game a couple years ago for that. I do think Banjo-Kazooie is the most likely candidate for this remaster. Just worth mentioning at the time.
But back to FromSoftware. One, how big a deal do you think it is if they did get them? And I say that if they do get them, it won't be an exclusive type of matter. It'll be more a defensive move like with Bungie. But getting them I think would be a pretty big deal. The one thing you mentioned, though, that I think is actually quite forward-thinking is, by the time, let's say, Elden Ring 2 comes out, right? Like, how many years did they work on Elden Ring 1? 6 years? I can't remember what the...
Well, I think it was longer than that, but that's also because they had to... A lot of that time was spent, like, building lore, but working on the game, I think they were, like developing the game itself for at least 6 years. You're right.
Yeah. So, by the time it comes out, like, we're probably going to be towards the end cycle of...
hardware in general.
PlayStation 5 and then Xbox Series X. The question is, are we going to even have a console the generation after, And Sony announcing
we know
their
it's going to be all about we know it's going to be subscription services. We know that. Like that's already happening, so we know that moving forward. But like if they get FromSoftware, it's 100% going to be exclusive to their platform. as long as I think their platform is available on on all other platforms. For instance, like I said, that's so dumb they got rid of PS Now. Um, well, it's not that dumb. It just it's dumb because it affects the people who don't have PlayStations, which I think
Yeah.
is dumb because that's them losing customers, right?
Hmm.
People were using PS Now on PC. Now they're not
Yeah.
going to because they got to pay $8 extra just to use the same service they've been using for like a year. You know, it doesn't make any sense why they would do that. But if in the future they became similar to Game Pass, where it's like, yes, it's available on our console and on PC, and with XCloud or
Yes.
with our streaming service, it's going to be on cell phones, tablets, wherever. And I think if that's the case, From Software would be like, yeah, whatever, it's
That's where
exclusive, but like,
that
how?
that's
But anybody can have it, you
yeah,
know?
that's kind of where I think it could be heading, where maybe they do get them exclusive, but it's more of the Microsoft model of exclusive, right? Like all of the exclusive games that they have on the Xbox are all available on PC, and a lot of them
Yeah.
are the same day and date, and also day one on Game Pass. So I think if Sony were to buy From Software, and if it were to be all their IP were exclusive to Sony, that it would have to follow a similar model where it'd be like, okay, it's exclusive on consoles to PlayStation, but there will be a PC version. I just can't see Elden Ring not having a PC, Elden Ring 2 not having a PC version.
Yeah, no, it
Um,
absolutely has to.
and Sony's not in the place to lose. I mean, that's why they aren't doing the day one stuff. They basically, in so many words, said, look, we cannot do what Microsoft is doing because we don't have as much money as they do, so we can't afford. The only way we can afford to make these big game AAA titles, like a Last of Us, like a Ghost of Tsushima, like Uncharted, is that you know we sell them outright $60 a game, or now $70 a game, and then later on we'll put it on the service. So, you know, it's
I have
going
a
to be interesting.
question. While we're talking about subscription services, I have an interesting question,
Hmm.
or well, prompt, if you will, thinking about the future of it. Which is, I read an article which I was going to mention at the end of this podcast, but I may as well mention it now. Which is the latest Oddworld game, which I really enjoyed. The publishers came out and said that because it was a PS Plus game, like you got it for free with PS Plus, they
Hmm.
said that severely damaged their sales. Um, and it's so I'm wondering in terms of that because it's also like
But how long ago did it come out in comparison to what I mean is when did it get released, and then when was it on PS Plus?
like that was the thing. I believe it was released when it was free. I think that was their issue as well, which was a bit dumb.
Okay.
Like it wasn't released like before it went free. I think it went on PS Plus for free,
Hmm.
like the week it came out. You know what I mean? Or maybe slightly afterwards, but it was within a very small like gap within each other. They said they were damaged from it, but it made me think. Like they said it severely damaged their sales, which makes sense because well, I suppose like well, I don't know. I'm pretty sure the game was on PC as well, so it's not like anybody was it wasn't stopping their PC sales. But I suppose if someone had a PlayStation and had PS Plus, why would they buy the game? You know
Yeah.
what I mean? You get the game for free as long as you have your PS Plus like running. You have it for free forever. Um, and it's also one of those things where it's like even if you don't have your PS Plus forever, you could finish the game in a month, you know, and you don't have to play it again. You've done it. You've essentially played it for like a $5 membership or something. But it leads me to think of the future, like way off in the future, when everything's a subscription service with
Hmm.
gaming, when all the studios are acquired and like they're all under umbrella corporations or whatever. You know, like for instance, Xbox, Microsoft, who owns all these companies. How are they going to start like? Surely, like the Game Pass subscription service is going to have to start paying for those companies because it's going to get to a point where it's like, well, there's no longer sales. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
people aren't buying games because they're all on
So
subscription services.
so
Like what
I
happens then?
so I have a partial answer to this. Now, numbers wise, I don't know if it will work out in the end. But so what's happening is, from the numbers that they're seeing with Game Pass, is that you're getting, a 2x to 3x on AAA titles in terms of people playing them versus, if they were to sell them outright. And then on indie titles was it's like an 8x, right? Like 8 times as many
Yeah.
people will play a game. Now, obviously, you're not getting that full $60 or whatever, even an indie game, let's say $20, $30. You're not getting that full, like every single that person plays on Game Pass. Microsoft's not giving them, hey, oh, this person played that, we're giving you $20 or whatever. They're not doing that. But because the numbers are so much higher, and even if they're getting a smaller chunk of it, they're getting more, right? Because there's just more people playing. And with the studies so far, they're showing that if you have Game Pass, you will spend more time playing games, period. And more people are willing to sign up for the service. So that's, I don't know in the end, if this is going to be all make sense in terms of how much money they make. But the idea is that with subscription services, you can get people to play more games, and more people will be subscribed as you have more to your library. And so eventually the scales will tip, like Netflix, right? If you think about Netflix, if I'm understanding correctly, Netflix is not a profitable model yet.
No.
They're spending more money than they're making. But their whole point, and it's much like what Amazon did, Amazon wasn't profitable for like, I think 15, 16 years or something like that. Anyways, I don't remember the exact year.
Jeff Bezos' parents bailed him out with, I think, like $200,000 after 2 years. Like the first 2 years of his company failing.
Yeah. But then investors kept investing money even while it was losing money because they saw the potential, right? And so that's what Netflix is doing. It's like they're spending more than that they're making, but the idea is that they're going to get so many people subscribed and invested that it gets to a point where the scales tip in their favor. That's Amazon is now profitable because of that. Netflix is on their way to that, much closer than Game Pass is. So the point is, eventually they're hoping they get to that point where the scales tip in their favor. They're, like I said, much farther away.
The issue with Game Pass, though, is, and this is, like I said, a long-term issue. Like we're talking like 10, 20-year kind of issue. You know what I mean? The issue with it is that Game Pass doesn't fund the games. You know what I mean? Yet, as far as I know, in the future, they're going to have to, because like I said, in the future, when everything is on a subscription service, like, think about it. Who the hell's buying a DVD today? You're not going to buy the DVD. You're going to watch it on the subscription service.
Yes.
So the subscription services in the future have to fund the games in the future. Currently, they are not. You know what I mean? Funding is coming from elsewhere or however they do it. I'm not too sure, but I know that Game Pass, the money they make from Game Pass, so the money they make from the Game Pass system right now, I'm sure it's getting invested into certain parts, but like not everybody that's on Game Pass currently benefits from the monthly income from it. You know what I mean? But like I said, it's a good trade. Like right now in this day and age, it's a good trade-off for indie developers, smaller companies, because it's because of Game Pass.
That's why
AAA way more studios. And
but that's why
studios.
AAA titles, though, that's why they don't come out day one on Game Pass. That aren't Microsoft owned, because so for example, Guardians of the Galaxy just came out on Game Pass. That came out in November, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. November, December. It was in the holiday season.
I spent money on that.
Yeah, it didn't sell as well as they wanted to. They got some of their money, but in the end they were disappointed in the sales, and a lot had to do with the public reaction to Avengers. Like I always say with movies, it's all the sequel. Like I think Spider-Man. I'm talking about the original Spider-Man, Sam Raimi Spider-Man. Spider-Man 3, I think, made the most money out of all three. But it wasn't because Spider-Man 3 was the best.
Biggest budget as well.
It wasn't because it was the best. It's because Spider-Man 2 was the best out of them. So it's always what follows later. So even though Guardians of the Galaxy wasn't a direct sequel to Avengers, it was in a way in people's minds. Like,
same brand, essentially.
Same developer. Yeah. It wasn't the same developer, same publisher, and same, IP universe or whatever. So people were hesitant, even though I haven't played it, but from what you told me and what other people have said, it's a great game. So it didn't make as much.
Great's pushing it. It's a good game. It's a
very
solid
good game.
Very solid. Yeah, very solid game.
So it didn't make the money that they expect or wanted to or whatever. Now they're trying to recoup some of that money by doing whatever licensing deal that they gave to Game Pass to put it on there, you know? So it's kind of like this, hey, if things didn't, like, I believe Outriggers, remember they were day one game, it was day one on Game Pass. I think it's because they knew that they weren't going to sell a lot and they needed a lot of people to be online.
I don't think it was day one on Game Pass.
It was day one on Game Pass.
It was like a month later or something? I feel like it because I know I paid for it. I bought the game. And
you know what it was?
I think
you know what it was. I think it was. It wasn't day one on PC, but it was day one on Xbox.
That could have been it. Yeah.
I think that's why you end up buying it, even though I didn't have to. I never bought it.
Day one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They wanted to booster their. They wanted to get some cash. You know, a little like. Just in case, you know, like, oh shit, you know, I don't think we're gonna sell that many as we thought. And then two, especially with online games, you want to boost that player base as high as you can in the beginning.
It makes sense for online multiplayer games.
Yes.
Like that would make like if one guy has it on Game Pass, and then it also because it was crossplay. Like that was a big part of it too. It's crossplay, and because of that, it definitely boosted their numbers. It's good for them. Let's move on. I gotta go to I gotta get some sleep soon. I gotta be up early.
Right. Next big thing that came out, Kingdom Hearts 4 announced. You can give me the details because this is a series I know is very popular, very beloved. I've never played any of them, but what's the deal going on? It was a 20th anniversary event. They announced Kingdom Hearts 4. This kind of goes into a topic we're going to talk about. I guess we should talk about next in conjunction with this. They didn't really give a platform. Like they didn't go Kingdom Hearts 4 for Nintendo Switch, which is going to lead into the next topic that we're going to talk about.
Well,
but anyways,
I think this is very much like. Well, it's definitely assumed that it's going to be PS5. It's next gen, at least from the looks of things compared to the previous game as well. Mm-hmm. But I think it's going to be available on PC as well as because that's what they did with Kingdom Hearts 3. Mm-hmm. It came out. I don't know if it was the same time, but it like within short amount of time with each other, it was out on PC as well. I think it'll be current gen. I think it'll be old gen and current gen because I keep thinking next gen, but next gen's been here for 2 years. We're here, okay. But yeah, I do think it'll come out on PS4, and I do think that it'll come out depending on when they're going to release this because that's the real thing. If this only comes out in like another 2 or 3 years, I think it's just going to be PS5 or like current and PC and current gen. The reason I was surprised to see this and I'm happy to see it was because the gap between Kingdom Hearts 2 and 3 was like 15 years. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like we didn't hear a thing. Like there are a couple in between games. They did a game for the Nintendo 3DS, for the PSP. PSP actually had a really good game called Birth by Sleep. And they're all games that tied in towards the story to actually finish. Like they were all tied into Kingdom Hearts 3, which was nice, satisfying at the end. Though I was quite disappointed with Kingdom Hearts 3 in terms of its story and its length. It was incredibly fun and very pretty. And like for those 2 points, I was very happy. But I was sad to see in the previous game that there were no Final Fantasy characters and more specifically Square Enix stuff. Because the whole point of Kingdom Hearts is Disney and Square Enix, is those two brands merging and their universes merging. Which is why people are speculating Kingdom Hearts 4, we might have some Star Wars worlds. Possibly. People, in one of the screenshots or one of the things people saw that they saw something that looked like the foot of a walker. You know what I'm talking about?
The AT-AT walker?
The 2-footed walker, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, not the AT-AT or AT-AT. I don't know how you... I say AT-AT, yeah.
AT-AT,
but yeah, like just
whatever.
Like not that, but it was like almost identical to the foot of the walker, like there because it's high resolution. I will say, I don't even like. I'm assuming that this is Sora, the main character, but he looks older, or they've just decided, hey, we're gonna make them look less goofy. because they like like I don't know if you remember just from like older games, even if you didn't play them, they always had these giant ass clown shoes.
Yes.
Like, yeah, it looks like they got rid of those, which I'm kind of sad about. But I guess they're in a more realistic world now. They seem to be in Tokyo. I
Mm-hmm.
think that this people are I mean, if it's a Kingdom Hearts game, we're gonna have Disney worlds. That's the whole point of it. Is you're exploring different Disney worlds and saving them with Goofy and Donald. And they showed off Sora here, and they teased Goofy and Donald at the end of the trailer, so they are there. They're in the same. They got to find each other again or whatever. I don't know where the story's gonna go from 3 because that was supposed to end it off. I was expecting another game, but I thought it was going to be like a what if for another 15 years or something. You know what I mean? Because they didn't like I mean, I haven't played the DLC, but they didn't exactly end it in a way where it's like, hey, there's a whole bunch more to do, you know? They left it a bit open-ended, but they did it in a way that like a movie would do it that knows it's not getting a sequel, you know what I mean? It was like you could imagine what happens next. They did it in that kind of way. Um, yeah, I mean, I'm excited for it because it looks great. It's gonna be fun because like Kingdom Hearts 3, the mechanics in that it's so fun. It's like it's not difficult, it's not particularly easy or difficult or anything like that. It's just fun. It's just good platforming fun. I enjoyed that. It looks like they're going for like a slightly more serious, edgy look with this. Um, and also they announced an Android game, which I play cell phone games, but you know, not a lot. Just obviously in my spare time when I'm waiting somewhere, you know. But it looked pretty good. Their Android game that they announced as well. So yeah, I was hoping because like I said in Kingdom Hearts 3 there was no Square Enix world of characters or anything.
Hmm.
And every single Kingdom Hearts game, well Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2 up until that, the most iconic things were that about those two games where there was a secret boss to fight. Well, not secret, kind of secret boss, which is Sephiroth. You got to fight Sephiroth and he was like one of the big bosses, you know what I mean, from Final Fantasy. And
Yeah.
you get to fight him in Kingdom Hearts. And they took it out. They took Cloud out. They took all of the main supporting characters that were like Final Fantasy characters. They took most of them out, and I wouldn't say they took them out. They just didn't use them. Like it was just all Disney. Kingdom Hearts 3 was just Disney, nothing but Disney.
Mm-hmm.
And then like the only people who weren't Disney was obviously the main character and his like couple of friends. So I really hope that in this world they go to Square Enix game worlds because there's so
Mm-hmm.
many Square Enix games that they could now be going to. You know what I mean? And then also Disney obviously owns a lot more IP once again, and there's so much stuff that they can do. Um, so that's always cool. Like that's the
Mm-hmm.
one thing that always surprised me was I forgot Disney did Pirates of the Caribbean, and in Kingdom Hearts
Yes.
2, I think there's a Pirates of the Caribbean level. And at the time, like for me, like the graphics were insane. I think it was like 2004 or something. I was like, whoa,
Yeah.
mind-boggling. Like they really captured Jack Sparrow's energy. Yeah, I'm excited for this, but I have no idea when this is.
Yeah, it's gonna be a long ways off.
I think maybe 2025, maybe.
Yeah, I
don't
think
know.
it might be longer.
Yeah.
So on to the next topic. This is something you brought to my attention. Is there's kind of a rumor going around about. I mean, we already know that Breath of the Wild 2 is delayed, but
Yeah.
there's I guess people have been analyzing the latest trailer and thinking that maybe that this is not for, or I mean, not for the Nintendo Switch, but it possibly could be cross-gen,
Cross generation, yeah.
and that there will be like a new Switch. There'll be like a Switch 2 or whatever. I mean, they already have. What's the one with the LED screen? Whatever is that Switch Plus
It's
or whatever?
no, it's just Switch OLED. I think.
OLED or whatever.
Yeah, the OLED edition. It's exactly the same. The screen's slightly bigger, and it's an OLED screen. That's about it.
So people are speculating that maybe there is like going to be a whatever the next gen Switch hardware is going to be, and then perhaps Breath of the Wild 2 will be cross.
It could be why they've
cross-gen
been
with it.
waiting so long to like announce it, or like the reason why we've seen so little about it.
Mhm.
I'm guessing it could be that they're holding it off to be like announce the game with the announcement of a new console, which would make sense. Like that would be big, rather than just saying, "Hey, here's the Switch 2. Hey, here's the Switch 2 and Breath of the Wild 2," and it's like and everybody screams and everybody's happy. Like it would be like that would be big, you know, if they do that. Like that'd be good marketing as well, and it'd be a huge announcement.
Yeah, they're talking about possibly for the Switch Pro or whatever that's been rumored for a long time.
I believe the issue is size as well, mainly because it's like
size, and
seems
they
like
said the graphics. They said like they
yeah,
seem to be beyond what they thought the Switch's capabilities were. So
because
they don't.
the Switch, yeah, the Switch has been pushed to its limits with a lot of things. Like I've seen it, like you can't like anything that involves like anything that isn't cell shaded graphics
Yeah.
either needs to be like streamed, and like the cloud gaming on the Switch is terrible. Like it is terrible, so don't ever try that. But yeah, or really really old. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? And Breath of the Wild pushed that system to its core, man. There's some times where I played the game and my Switch was like the fans were just blasting. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I don't know if they are somehow found another gear on the Switch, or it really is going to be. They're showing footage from, let's say, a future Switch hardware platform, but it also will be available for the regular Switch as well.
Yeah,
So
that
that's
would make sense.
yeah, and then the delays would make more sense too.
It has been
Oh,
a while, I guess, since the original Switch came out.
mm,
Which I need to keep an eye on when the Switch Sports is coming out. I really want to get that. Just because I was a huge fan of the Wii Sports, and it's
yeah.
its spiritual successor, essentially.
Uh,
I'm just curious because I don't think that the Switch controllers have much motion control in them, but I could be proven very wrong with the game that comes out.
hmm. All right. Moving on. New Tomb Raider game was announced by Crystal Dynamics, and they're going to use
Yeah,
Unreal Engine 5,
I
which
could be wrong about this, but I think I heard it could be another another reboot of Tomb Raider.
hmm,
Because they've just finished their like, or like it's going to be another telling of it, because they did just currently technically, well, they not just, but they just finished the most recent reboot of it, if that makes sense, which was the Tomb Raider, Rise of the Tomb Raider, and then like Fall of the Tomb Raider. I don't know what
Shadow of the
the
Tomb Raider.
Shadow of the Tomb Raider. You know what I mean? Those three games were a trilogy, and they were like a beginning and end.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's gonna look. It's either gonna be another arc following right after that, or it's gonna be like set before it, or who knows? It could be its whole own thing, from what I've been reading from people I've been
Mhm.
speculating about.
But yeah, hearing that whatchamacallit, what was it?
I mean, it's gonna look beautiful in Unreal Engine 5.
Yeah,
Like
just so many
it's
people
good, like
switching over.
sprawling open worlds. You know what I mean? Like the game's gonna be great. I recently watched a fan remake part of World of Warcraft in Unreal Engine 5, and it looked amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not something that can be done because an MMO cannot look like that.
Hmm.
It's just not wise for a successful
Yeah.
MMO to look that good. Your servers will catch fire.
Yeah.
Um, but it still looked great. Like I'm just so excited for what people are going to do with Unreal Engine 5 moving forward, because I I'm looking forward to bigger open worlds, and I do, and I mean bigger, but because we can now get bigger open worlds, and people have learned, and I think that's what we're getting with the Forsaken game coming out, which I'm not too sure if I'm going to play or not. But the thing that Forsaken game showcases is that now with Unreal Engine 5, we can make these giant open world. We can load things so much quicker, make giant open world settings. But the issue is no one's going to want to walk across, you know what I mean, like a giant open world. Like
No, they
even if
need
it's
it.
full of things to do,
They
even if
need
it's
a
yeah,
car or
fast
a
travel, yeah. So
horse.
you need that. Like exactly, like Forsaken's got that super fast parkour because you're able to. It's like, hey, look at how fast we can load these mountains in the background. You can sprint to those mountains. So I'm looking forward to what people are going to think of like in the future. You know what I mean? Like because they're going to have to find ways to like make those big, giant, sprawling landscapes like more accessible, rather than just having it as background. Which I guess is another way of using Unreal Engine 5, is you can just have some sick scenery that's not
Hmm.
meant to be explored, but just amazing. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, what really blew me away was, and it's not only for video game purposes, because it's going to have huge reverberations in the movie and TV industry, which is that Matrix demo that they showed
Yeah,
using
I think it
Unreal
got
Engine
released
5.
on PC recently, and it was trash because
Yeah,
obviously it wasn't optimized for PC.
yeah, and
Like
also it's
that
like
was
you don't
never
know
its
what card you're
intention.
using. You know what I mean? It's not like
Hmm. And I think people were saying they were getting like locked to like 20 FPS and stuff like that.
yeah,
It was
where the
bad.
Xbox Series X and the PS5, it's like you know exactly what hardware you have, so
Yeah,
that's what you're
and
gonna
the demo
deliver on.
was very much engineered for that with
Yeah,
Unreal Engine 5. Yeah, I'm excited for sci-fi in the future because Unreal Engine 5 is going to make that super easy. Well,
yeah,
not easy, but like easier. You know what I mean? Or you can do more. quicker, which is going to be. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah. So, speaking of sci-fi, this is something we talked about at the very, very beginning, which is Lego. Star Wars.
Oh yeah.
The Skywalker Saga. So, which is interesting because it just came out. It's getting very positive reviews. It covers all 9 movies. And what's interesting is I think me and Dorian had like covered this game like back in E3 like 2019, I think, and it was like,
yeah,
it's just right around the corner, 2019, and then COVID hit, and then like just it's been kind of brewing in the background.
Here we are, 2022.
Yeah, it's 3 years later, and it's finally out, but from all accounts, it sounds like it's a lot of fun. It's tons of stuff to do. It sounds like something I probably will get in the future, but just not right now. Just I don't have the time to this seems like a very, very big, extensive game that covers a lot of bases.
Yeah, you can't blast through it as well, in my opinion. You know what I mean? Because it's like, well, I mean, yeah, but even it's still long if you blast through it, but I don't know. Like Lego games, in my opinion, they're very fun, but easy, very like quick and easy to get through as well, which is what I enjoy. Yeah, no. I still want to get the game. Don't know if there's co-op. I don't think there is, but I'm still going to get it regardless. But for me, my favorite part about Lego games is being able to enjoy the ridiculous goofiness of it with a friend. And like, there's always been co-op in most of the Lego games I've played, at least. But from what I could see, I don't think there is co-op, but it still looks really fun. And it looks good.
I think because the world is so big, I think that's why there's no co-op. It's like you can go to
also like you're following Luke Skywalker. It's the Skywalker legacy, not the Sky and Han Solo legacy. It's
a Skywalker. Sorry, so you actually start. Well, I guess it depends if you want to start with Episode 1, but Episode 1, I guess you start with Anakin.
You know what? That makes sense. Sorry, I guess you don't, because I remember I watched a friend play it when he started Episode 1, and you start as Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Oh, okay.
In that scene where they're like cutting open the doors with the lightsabers.
Oh, okay, yeah, the first scene.
You know what I mean? Like literally the very like it. It seems like it does it scene by scene, which I love. It does it scene by scene, which is that's so awesome. Yeah. What that means? I wonder if I get to be Jar Jar Binks. Oh, I wonder if I get to be.
I'm pretty sure there's going to be at least a level or two. I saw like
Jar Jar Brick. Oh, I hate myself.
There's like R2D2. There's a.
Yeah, the game does look really good. I do want to get it, and it's pretty affordable here.
Yeah, it looks fun.
Still full price, but
but you're getting like a lot with the game. You're getting
6
so many
games,
different worlds. Yeah, so many different worlds and whatever. Well, 9 games. 9 games.
Wait, it's 9? I thought it was just. Oh my gosh! So that would include.
Hold on.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Is like it's a 9 game. Oh wow!
I believe so, because it should have the new one with Force Awakens and Force Awakens.
Damn. I did not know that. I thought it was just the first 6. That's awesome. No. That's great then.
Yeah.
Okay, then the game is way longer than I expected. Yeah. As well. That's like 30% more than what I thought it was going to be. Damn, yeah. That's awesome.
It's in Green Hills.
So also moving on, this was last week, but Sonic the Hedgehog 2 came out, and mostly
positive
reviews.
On Friday.
Yeah, I'm gonna try and see it this weekend as well.
Yeah,
mostly positive reviews. They said it's bigger, better. They said some stuff isn't as good, but in overall, it's a fun experience, and takes a lot of the good stuff that you've seen that you liked about the first Sonic, and kind of pumped it up for the second one. So
yeah, my friend Ian is a huge Sonic diehard fan, and he was very critical of the first movie, and he loved the first movie. Well, he enjoyed the first movie. I enjoyed the first movie. Most people did, but he was very critical about it. Like moving in, he was very like skeptical, and he had a good time. And he was once again skeptical for the sequel, but he enjoyed it. He said it was good. Like he had nothing to complain about, and he usually picks like things apart. So I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be good fun, you know.
Yeah. It was a surprise when the first one came out. This one will be less of a surprise because like I actually have expectations for this one versus the first one. But yeah, and then following that, another side story is that Jim Carrey he didn't really announce his retirement, but kind of saying that he was going to retire.
He kind of did. Well, I guess you're right. It wasn't an official announcement. Like, it's not really official.
But he just kind of
But he
sounded
said
like
it.
he just said that he was kind of done. I've done
Yeah.
enough. Blah blah blah. And so
I mean, he might actually be done though this time, because I know he said that for a while. He disappeared, he disappeared from Hollywood for a while.
Yeah.
I remember that I spotted him once in the arts district in downtown, and it was like seeing a two-headed giraffe. I was like, holy shit, that's Jim Carrey. And he was just walking around. He was just waving to people. He was with some lady. I mean, you can't not see that giant smile he has. It's huge. Like, ingrained in my mind from the Mask movie. But yeah, like, and because he was so done with Hollywood for a while, and then he got into his painting, he got into his psychedelics, he got into it a bit too much, in my opinion. But he was getting really into it. He came. What really brought him back, in my opinion, was the Sonic movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I think he's done a few other things, but like, this is the thing that, like, he came back and I was like, damn, that's Jim Carrey. You know what I mean? The brand, the icon that is Jim Carrey. Maybe not the person, but that's what I'm used to seeing in the 90s and 2000s,
Yeah.
you know?
Dr.
He did
Robotnik
some
is
bad
basically
stuff before that. Yeah.
Dr. Robotnik is basically evil Ace Ventura.
I do think that he's very serious about it this time, I think, leaving. However, I bet you right after he made that statement, he got his publicist calling him, he had his agents calling him.
Of course,
everybody who's making money off of his money is calling him going, "Are you sure you want to do this, Jim?"
But anyways, the producers behind Sonic were like, well, if Jim Carrey is really done with acting, that they said they're never going to replace him for Robotnik.
Yeah, they'll have to find a workaround.
Well, they'll just find different enemies, They'll just figure out.
True.
I know Robotnik is the main enemy, but they're just like, we'll find a different way.
I'm glad. I like that, first of all, that like they're doing that out of respect, but also just out of smarts, because they know that it would just not go well if they did that.
You're gonna find someone to replace Jim Carrey. It's like, no, good luck.
It's okay to recast Sonic. That worked. Okay, the recasting of Sonic worked. Okay, there was quotation marks for anybody listening on Spotify.
All right, let's move on. Real quick, Remedy and Rockstar Games announced Max Payne 1 and 2 remake for PC, PS5, and Xbox Series X, which is, they must have done decently well with their Alan Wake remaster, which, I'm a huge Alan Wake fan. I did not get it, not because I don't want to get it, and I probably will get it in the future. I had just finished, replaying the first game, so I don't think I will. I probably will wait until Alan Wake 2 comes out, play that, then buy the remaster and play the remaster. You know what I mean?
Yeah. What I'm excited about is that this is a remake, because I assumed this was a remaster, but it's on the same engine that was Control and Alan Wake 2.
Which looked really good.
Yeah. So, well, I'm just excited for that, because I'm shouldn't say it, but I was really looking forward to the Chrono Cross remaster, and that is not worth the money. It is. It's like what they did. It's like in my opinion, from everything I've seen with that remaster, the only thing they did was they were like, hey, you see this old 8-bit text? We made it crispy. Look at the text. Look at how crispy and everybody's literally sitting there going, I'm not going to spend $20. Yeah, it's $20. It's cheap, but I'm not going to pay $20 for something that I can download and play for free on my phone, emulate it, and it looks pretty much the same. I'm so upset about that. Like, there's a huge difference in like the faces of the characters, but the game itself, like the gameplay, it's such a minuscule difference that they shouldn't have even really. They shouldn't. Yeah, I don't know. Although I guess it does run smoother, but still, I was expecting them to do more, like put in more effort, man. That was disappointing. Whereas with this, right off the bat, I know it's going to be good because it's a solid engine. It's a very pretty, very good looking engine.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I think I only had played Max Payne 1, before, but I just remember having a lot of fun with it. It had that bullet time when Matrix was huge.
You like do the dive and you.
Yeah.
Oh man.
So
I only played the third Max Payne, but I loved that game. I remember at the time as well. It was like that game blew my mind because at the time of that game, when that game came out, I can't remember the year it was, but it was a 50 gig game, and that blew my mind. It blew everyone's minds. They're like, dude, the game's huge. The game's huge. It's 50. And nowadays we're so used to 50 gig games. It's like, yeah, sure, okay, yeah. I was expecting that, Now we're complaining about 100 gig games, but at the time it was like 53 gigs, and I was like, holy crap, that's insane. Like it was, but yeah, I loved Max Payne 3. I hope that this gets really popular and they pop off with a remake for Max Payne 3 as well. But I look forward to playing the first two because I never did. And there's when I played Max Payne 3, there's a lot of story that I didn't know what was going on or like the backstory to things. So it'd be nice to get those blanks filled in.
All right, let's move on. Oh, Halo Infinite Season 2. So it's going to be adding new maps, new modes. It's next month, so it's not that far away. I remember when Halo Infinite came out, it was like, oh my God, it's so far away. I think having Elden Ring has kind of tied it. I haven't played, to be honest, I haven't touched Halo Infinite since I got Elden Ring, and I plan on coming back to it, but, obviously after I finish Elden Ring, and I think by the time Season 2 starts is probably when I'll be done with Elden Ring, because it seems like I've still got a good chunk left, even though I've already played it for a ton of time. But apparently, there's a lot of fixes that people want. I know there was a quote from 343 Industries. They said, "We understand the community is simply out of patience." That was community director Brian Jarrett, so they certainly not happy. They have been unable to meet player and community expectations, but they said meaningful content is on the way, just going to take some time. So, they didn't have co-op from the start. They didn't have the Forge. The Battle Pass, I guess, I didn't get deep into the Battle Pass, so I can't really say. Also, I'm not a person who's has to get every little thing in Battle Passes.
Look, I buy Battle Passes often, but they have to be worth it, or they have to be worth it. That's the only way I can explain it. There's been so many I play the crap out of Valorant, but there's been so many Battle Passes I didn't buy because they just weren't worth it, especially to my particular tastes. But at least with Valorant, that's a nice thing, is that even all their Battle Passes are good. It just might not be your taste. With Halo Infinite, it's just the Season 2 is a bit better, but everything still seems very bland. I know it's Halo. It's a pretty serious game, at least in terms of its backdrop and story. You don't want to be throwing out unicorn helmets, but man, things like that would get people to buy Battle Pass. I'm just
they
saying.
had the cat. They had the cat ears with the cat.
Oh, okay, that's
helmet.
awesome. I didn't know about that. That's pretty cool.
Oh yeah.
But they if they do more out there stuff like that, I know fans will be a lot of fans will be upset about it, but the thing is, the people who do spend money on Battle Passes are younger kids, and they will eat that up. And I hope that they fix it. I did get back into the Halo Infinite a while ago because I had a friend playing it, the multiplayer that is. But mainly we only play the small maps. I enjoy the big map, but playing the small maps where it's a 5v5 team or something like that, or 6v6 or the smaller maps, those can get competitive and fun.
I'm definitely a
really
smaller map.
Fun.
I'm a smaller
map
person.
Same.
I
Especially
like the fast
if you're
action.
communicating it in a team. When everyone's talking, they're like, oh, if you can communicate, it gets so competitive and it gets so fun. And the engagement, like you said, because it's small, so you're engaging all the time.
The one good thing too, though, is the next Battle Pass, you can actually earn credits to spend. So you pay for the Battle Pass, then you can start earning more credits to buy in-game items. And it says even you can build up those credits to use on the next Battle Pass. So it doesn't go away. It isn't like you earn the credits and then they disappear after the season's over.
Which is essentially like Fortnite.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Fortnite was the first people to put that in place, and that's the system that makes the most sense. But it's a good incentive because the way, like I said, and I think it's changed recently, where in Fortnite, the Battle Pass, say for instance, it costs 1,000 V-Bucks. If you complete the Battle Pass, you usually get about 1,300 V-Bucks back. which means it gives you enough V-Bucks to buy the next battle pass and to have a little bit left over to spend on some other in-game items. You know what I mean? So it's one of those things that incentivizes you to play it more as well, because if you finish it, you get more of it. And I'm sure that's the same with Halo, where it's like you have to finish the battle pass in order to make your money back, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? Or at least get close to finishing to make your money back.
That's
That's
fair.
Because if you're good at the game, you only have to buy the battle pass once. You know what I mean?
That's
and then
fair.
you never have to pay for it again as long as you play. And I think that's fair.
That's definitely fair. All right. Moving on. Oh, let's talk about the Halo. We haven't talked about the Halo TV series in a while. We talked about the premiere episode. Since then, episodes 2 and 3 have dropped. Let's not go into any type of spoilers or anything, but Conan, what are your overall thoughts? Because we both kind of had like a mixed
man.
You did?
I got halfway through episode 3 and I was like, I don't care anymore. It dawned on me, like a light just flashed above my head where I was like, well, I just don't care anymore. Like, I'm gonna wait for the whole series to come out and I'm gonna watch it when the whole thing's out, but then I'm just gonna skip through all the shit that I don't care about, which is most of it. I just want to know about this alien artifact. That's the only thing I want to know about. Other than, if there was a way for me to like spoil the ending for myself, that's what I would do, just so I don't have to. I don't know, man. I'm not like there's things I'm disappointed in it by, and I'm sure the series will do well with certain people, but I've lost interest. And I was like trying to keep interest. It was just somewhere halfway through episode 3, I was just like, I don't care. I don't. Episode 2, I actually liked episode 2. I liked that. You know what I mean? That was the one where, without spoilers, he went off and met an old friend.
Yes.
Right? Yes. I liked that episode. That was a good episode. And then episode 3 was just like so boring. It's so dull. Oh man. Oh, it's sad. You hate to see it.
Yeah. So I'm still mixed on the show. There's some things I like about it, some things I don't. One of the things I do want to say is, and I had this complaint from the first episode, and I still have it now, or criticism, is that it doesn't look like how much money they're investing in it. Was it $10 million per episode?
Yeah, it doesn't.
It really doesn't. So on a side note, anyone who I just recently started watching the Expanse, which is supposedly one of the best sci-fi series in a long, long time.
How is it? I've been looking.
Very good. Very good.
That.
It's on Amazon Prime. You can watch it.
Isn't there a game coming out based off of the universe?
I don't know. I don't know.
I think we covered that. Yeah, I think
Possibly.
I think there's I think there's a VR game coming out based off of the Expanse, or like in the same world or universe.
But from what I understand is those episodes probably are like half the cost of Halo, and they look a lot better.
Even look at like early Black Mirror episodes. Their budget was like so much smaller than this, and they pulled off better looking things.
I don't know. It's a combination of things. I think it's mainly a lot of it is the lighting and also the production design on the sets and the costumes. They're just not doing themselves any favor, especially with all that just bright lighting. Everything's just bright.
Yeah.
Which is never good. If you watch The Expanse or you watch anything, you see like, oh, okay, the way that the lighting's done, especially for these sci-fi series. Remember, you don't have a lot of outdoor stuff. You don't have a lot of like true daylight stuff. All of it is artificial indoor lighting. That means you got to light it yourself. But they're just not doing anything interesting with it. They're just, bam, turn on as many lights as possible. There's no mood to it, right? Like it's just straight up like, let's just make it very bright.
You know what? I said it a while ago, and I'll say it again. I really truly think that the phrase "we'll fix it in post" was used way too much on the set, because that's the only thing that I can think of as to what led. And I think it's miscommunication between editors and directors here. You know what I mean? Like, I think a lot of people did a very good job on the show, and it's the execution of it, like in post, in my opinion, that may have failed a bit. Like, here's the thing as well, especially with my experience of editing films. It is easy sometimes it's better to overlight. If you can't decide on your lighting on the day of filming on set, and you can't decide between too bright or too dark, if you can't find that sweet spot, always go too bright rather than too dark. Because in post, when you make something darker, you don't lose the resolution. But when you make something brighter, you do lose resolution. So, like, I understand the thought process of why you would overlight sometimes on a film set, but then it's like, shit, you got to communicate to your editors and be like, hey, I overlit here. Can you make it darker? You know what I mean? I don't know. I feel like there wasn't enough communication between whoever was in charge of post-production and actual production, you know?
Well, that's the thing, is there's no overall vision, right? There should be a vision of how, and maybe what they have right now is their vision, but I personally think it's too flat. It's too even. There's no mood to it. There's just
and it's weird because every now and then there are some great shots. Like there are, like, every now and then there's some great shots, but it's overshadowed by mainly bad shots.
Mm-hmm.
And by bad shots, I mean like CGI. Once again, like you said, it's CGI lighting, that kind of stuff. It's good framing. It's good like camera technique, but I don't know. The lighting kills it. Sometimes the set kills it. You know.
Yeah.
Sometimes the acting's a little flat on some of the actors as well, which isn't that bad. You can overlook that because I mean, hell, if you can watch CW shows, you can deal with bad acting, you know?
So let's move on from there. This might be my last one. Yeah, this is my last one. And then you can get into anything you have. It's a new VR game came out called Green Hell VR, the Quest Edition, which is...
Oh, yeah. I've played that, but not the VR version.
Yeah. So there's a 2D non-VR version that's available on the PC, and they adapted...
I think it's on everything. I think it's on Switch as well. It's on...
Probably.
Yeah. I think I saw
so
it, like,
it's a survival / kind of puzzle.
It's like a realistic survival game.
Yes.
Think about it.
I'm going to do...
Because you're fighting real you like bears. No. It's not monsters.
Yeah,
you know, it's actual animals. It's more realistic.
You're in the Amazon jungle, and it's about surviving there. And your main character is Jake, and you have a wife. I'm gonna do a separate video on this, a first impressions video. But I just want to say, I've been playing it. They did kind of take it down in terms of, well, obviously for the graphics for the Quest. But also even size-wise, they scaled down the size of the maps because the Quest can't handle as big of maps as the PC can. But the overall spirit, the overall kind of feel to it is all the same.
Yeah, I'm curious. Yeah, I'm gonna want to get your opinion. Well, I guess I'll watch the video and you do your first impressions. But I'm curious as to how because it's a survival game, right?
Yeah.
So there's also a big emphasis on crafting. So I'm just curious as to how the crafting system works in VR.
So it's from... I never played the PC version, but from what people are saying is that the VR version is much more fun in the crafting because you're physically grabbing stuff. Like the wood you grab, you cut it down to pieces, and then you stack them in. Like there's much more of a satisfactory when you complete something. I will say this, the part that kind of annoys me, and some other people may like this because they love survival games. I'm not a huge survival games fan, but the normal setting is a little too much for me. Where like your guy's like, wanting to drink water like every 5 minutes. It's like, come on, man, can I play the game?
Hate that shit, man.
So I had already played like an hour. I just stopped and I started from the beginning and put it on like...
Here's the thing with survival games, especially when you're starting out, like when you're low level in any survival game, well, except for Minecraft because the mechanics are different, but most survival games, like most ones that aren't, like a Minecraft, I think of like Ark. Ark is a good example. When you're in the first couple like levels of that, like where you're trying to get better stuff, it's literally better to just die of starvation than it is to try to find food.
See, the problem...
It's quicker to die of starvation, restart, or respawn, and then go.
So there's
what usually people would do. Yeah.
There's two different things you can do in the game, or two different modes. You can play the story mode, which is what I did, or you can play like the survival mode. And I think the survival mode is like that, right? Where you try and survive and level up or whatever. In the story mode, once you die, you're dead. You gotta start all over. Also, the save points aren't great. Like you literally can go do stuff for, let's say, 45 minutes and have not a single save. and you just die, and you got to start
wow.
all the way back because it's not intuitive. Because you either have to hit a story point or go to a virtual save point within the game. But in the meantime, if you are like surviving and trying to do all this and that and whatever, and you die, all of anything that you picked up or whatever is all gone.
Damn.
Yeah, it's really annoying. Anyways, but the story is solid. It's not, the voice acting's okay. It's fun. I love puzzle games. I love that feeling like I'm in Lost. I'm on this weird area. It's not an island, but just like a deserted area, trying to find my way through and trying to figure out different things. So there's some like puzzle aspects to it and whatnot. I enjoy that. It reminds me kind of like the Walking Dead game, except for the Walking Dead was more focused on killing the zombies. But it does have kind of that the Walking Dead game had that crafting element to it and that kind of exploration element to it. So I don't know. I'm enjoying it. It is frustrating in some of the things that it does, but I'll do a separate video on that as well.
It's known as being a frustrating game.
Yeah.
To be fair, it's the green hell. It's not the green heaven, Dennis.
No.
You're dealing with a lot of death and frustration there. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's it on my list. What do you got?
I got a couple things here. Mainly The Witcher 3 next gen upgrade delayed. CD Projekt Red takes over development. I still, even though I've looked into this, okay, it is. I was wondering if this was also going to be an enhancement to the PC, but it is. Because I was going to say the game already looks pretty freaking good. Like, when I play the game, the game looks beautiful. So I don't know how they're going to... I mean, like, I know they're going to upgrade it, and I'm sure it's possible, but, like, I can't fathom it looking any better than it already does.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm looking forward to it, and I can wait because it's not like there's a rush to play. Like the game's been out for years, you know what I mean? Not missing anything. It's just it's a good reason to play the game again for the first time, and it's a good reason for people who haven't played the game to play the game. If there's going to be updated for PS5, Xbox Series X, and PC.
Mm-hmm.
The game came out 2015, so it's been a long time. I do love this game. It's one of those games though where you need time. Like it's one of those games that grabs you, and much like Elden Ring, you got to like spend a couple hours playing it before you actually accomplish anything or do much. You know, you can't just like hop in and out. You need like a day to play it at least. And it has such great lore. Like I don't ever read books, like in-game books, like even like Skyrim, anything like that where there's lore in, like if you know what I mean? You can walk around, you find a book, you can read it. This is the kind of game that really rewards you for doing that, because you'll learn who's weak to what, how things work, secrets. Like it's really good like that. So it's the same with Elden Ring, where all those notes that you can buy and pick up and read, those tell you about real locations you can go to and real things that can help you. You know what I mean? So I love it when games do that. Anyways, there is a delay for that. I just thought it'd be good mentioning it. There was an update to No Man's Sky, which I was actually playing just before we started the podcast. It adds well, there was always space pirates, but like it's like now it's a big emphasis on dogfighting and space combat, which they've already done so many updates in terms of the survival, like your base building, farming, underwater stuff, aquatic stuff. They've done a lot for the planets. They haven't done much for space itself. So now they're putting an emphasis on working more on the space aspect of it. You know what I mean? And it's only been out for like a day, but it's been well received. It seems really fun. I've noticed a few UI changes in the game. I'm enjoying the game, playing it again. Probably going to take me a long time to get to that point because there's so much grinding to get just out of your like solar system to start with. But so that looks good. The reason I bring that up as well is because Hello Games, the people who made No Man's Sky, says that they got a new project, and it's so ambitious that it's impossible even with a team of 1,000 people.
Jeez.
So like, here's the thing: like, they're making money now. Actually, like they were able to make money. They lost a lot of money when No Man's Sky came out because of marketing. They put too much money into marketing. The game came out. People wanted refunds. They had to refund a lot of games. But since then, I'm pretty sure that they're now in the green. Like I think they've been in the green for a couple of years at least. Mm-hmm. I'm just speculating because the game keeps doing these amazing free expansions, by the way. Like, they're not paid. They're all free, and they just completely change the game every time and make it better. Well, not completely change it. Like, all your progress and stuff will be there, but there's like, they add so much with each expansion. The first couple, one or two, they didn't do much, but like now we're getting to the point where each expansion is like proper DLC. Like, it should be paid DLC in my opinion. But they're not doing that because they know that more people will just come buy the game if it has all this stuff attached to it already that you don't have to pay for, you know? For a lot of people, it can be a bit daunting to want to play a game, and it's like, hey, buy the game, and there's already 6 DLCs out, and they all cost this much, you know what I mean? Like, it can be daunting trying to navigate that stuff, whereas with this, it's like, no, you got the game, and here's all the expansions that have come out, you know what I mean? Like, it's just always been this way. So yeah, I'm really enjoying the game, but I just don't. Sorry, the reason I bring that up is because I'm just wondering how they're going to afford a new project. Because their whole issue is because of the loss that No Man's Sky took in that first year, they've basically had to spend years recovering from it and keep pushing on to No Man's Sky and specifically working with No Man's Sky to get it better. And right now, the game is great. It's been great for a few years, to be honest. Ever since they did the proper multiplayer expansion where you could do actual multiplayer. You know what I mean, and actually see other people. And now it's like there's hubs, there's social hubs, there's places for people to meet up, and they've really done a good job with the game. But yeah, I don't know what their profits are as a company, so I'm wondering. But then again, they're that's their whole thing, is to be over ambitious. That's basically what they're known for, in my opinion. So I do think it makes sense for them to be like, yeah, our next project is so over ambitious, we don't think we can do it. You know. Yeah, with 1,000 people behind it. But it's similar to No Man's Sky. It's the kind of project that even if we had 1,000 people working on it, it'd still seem impossible. But I think they mean similar to No Man's Sky in terms of like, not the game being similar, but like the struggle being similar. Yeah, it's in very early development, and we don't know anything about it. I'm curious because this is like, Hello Games just did like No Man's Sky. That's what they're known for. Like, I think they may have done like a couple small games before this, and I do mean like small, you know what I mean, like tiny things. But this is a big game, so I'm very curious as to what the hell they're gonna be doing. Sean Murray, who is the head honcho there, I think he's very charismatic actually. They said that they've learned their lesson about taking games too early, taking on games too early, especially after No Man's Sky. But yeah, I don't know. I'm curious to see. Anyways, Outlaws came out. It's doing great. I'm playing the game. I'm enjoying it again. I mentioned this earlier, but this is stuff that came out recently, which is that Oddworld Soulstorm, the developer says that the PS Plus was devastating for their sales. Sorry, yeah. The founder, he said that the game was downloaded close to 4 million times through PS Plus, significantly more than the studio's expectations of 50 to 100,000, which is what they're expecting. But yeah, 4 million people got it from PS Plus. Think about it. That's 4 million sales that you kind of lost out on.
Well,
but like also like
not
potentially,
all of them are really gonna buy it, you know.
Exactly, yeah. But yeah, so it really is being called a double-edged sword. Yeah, it was free to download in April 2021, which is the same month that it was the same month that the game came out.
You can't do that.
Yeah,
you gotta
that was dumb. Yeah. I think that was that was probably the dumbest thing they did. Was all they had to do if they just waited like 2 or 3 months before going onto PS Plus. You know what I mean? Like that was on, I don't know, whoever's decision that was. I don't think they were strong armed into it. You know what I mean? I'm pretty sure they were like all about it. Like, yeah, let's do it. You know, whoever did that needs to. It's not smart, man. Especially because you're not a huge company, and it's a great IP, but it's an old IP that not that many people know about anymore. You know. Yeah. Unfortunate, but yeah, so they said it was devastating. And then this is like my last bit of news, and I think it's the biggest news that I've heard of this past week, which is Vicarious Visions has merged with Blizzard Entertainment, and they are now specifically only working on, they're dedicated to Blizzard games. Well, in a statement, they said, "We've officially merged with Blizzard Entertainment. Our development team will remain in Albany, New York, and fully dedicated to Blizzard games. We invite you to follow us at Blizzard Entertainment." So they're essentially even like giving up their Twitter account by like pushing a different Twitter account. I'm excited for Blizzard because Vicarious Visions is amazing, and I think that like whatever they're gonna do at Blizzard, I think they're gonna do a great job at. But like most people were disappointed because Vicarious Visions is known for doing remasters, and they've done a really good job. They did the Crash Bandicoot remaster, which that was amazing. I think they did the Spyro remaster as well. They did Diablo 2, which was also amazing. And then what else was it that they did recently? I am blanking on it. It was another big remaster that they did. Oh, that's right. How could I forget? And this is the reason I'm disappointed and sad. They did Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2, which I loved. It was an amazing remaster. So much so that I was pretty optimistic and hopeful that they would do a remaster of the third game. But now that seems highly unlikely. And most people are disappointed that they're not going to get Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 or 4 or any of those sweet remasters. Like, I'd be so happy to get Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 remastered. That was one of my favorite games. But then again, it's one of those things where rather be thankful it happened, you know? It's better to have loved than lost, I guess is the phrase. I'm not too sure, you know? So yeah, I'm just happy that I got Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2 and I can play it forever and it's remastered and it's beautiful, you know? And Jack Black is in it, which was not something I expected, but thank you. Yeah, that's the last bit of news I got. I guess, unfortunately got to be up in like 5 hours.
Cool. Real quick, where are you on Elden Ring? Have you played it recently?
Yes, I just got to the snowy area.
Okay.
Which
So
I didn't I didn't know existed. Like,
there's
I thought I explored. Like it's one of those moments where you're like, oh, I explored the whole map, and it's like, nope. Here's an entire fucking area you never knew about.
There's also, there's more. There's more.
There's more, yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm exploring out in like that northern ice area, frozen tundra kind of. I just got there and I was just like, so taken back by how much more there was to do, and I was like, oh my gosh. It wasn't like tedious. I was like, I'm gonna stop here because I need food, and if I keep playing, I will. Like, it's the only, like I said, the only reason that's holding me back from playing this game is time, because I don't have what it takes to stop playing after like 3 or 4 hours. I don't. I physically can't. Like, when I am in this game, I am in this game.
Okay.
I'm there. You know what I mean? I even tried playing a bit of PvP, loved it. Mainly hated it. Because there's so many metas, and if you don't follow the meta, you're screwed.
Everyone has Rivers of Blood katana with blood
katana,
with blood loss like plus. So
it's crazy. So you get hit, you're screwed. Though I have been seeing like apparently with high level players, because they don't like with the higher level players, they just hunt you down. They don't really look at like the basic stuff. So what people have been doing is they wear like, and I love this. They wear the armor of the NPC of the basic little guys walking around, and they just pretend to be an NPC and have the people. It's the funniest thing. I saw that. I love that. That's hilarious. I do want to play more of the game. I feel like my next session that I play that game, I feel like I might finish it.
Really?
But then again, I felt that way about my last. I felt that way about my last session. Yeah. I'm pretty over leveled at this point though as well.
But like, every time you think you're over leveled, you aren't, because you'll hit a wall. That's what usually happens. I feel like I'm over leveled, then I hit a wall, which is usually like a boss or a certain level that I can't get past. And then after I beat that, I'm over leveled for that next portion.
Have you fought what's her name?
I'm at her place. I'm at her place.
Melania. Are you?
Yeah.
I'm not
right
looking forward to that.
I'm right at her doorstep.
I watched one of my favorite YouTubers, Afro Senju, play that, and actually the past 3 videos on his channel has been him trying to beat this boss, and he's deleted the game.
It's an optional. It's an optional boss.
Right? Oh, I know it's optional, but it's like you get one of the coolest weapons from it, with the coolest weapon skill. You know, it looks sick. You need hella dexterity for it. But that's the nice thing about the larval tier and being able to respec. I'm very thankful to be able to respec, because I respec recently because I had way too much in Arcane and Faith, and I just needed like I kept my Arcane up a little bit. I kept it on 15. Because it just gives you that little extra item drop boost. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you're like looking for a certain armor set or something, and you want like I do that a lot with a lot of the mages in the game like that spawn. I just grind those to get their gear. Yeah, I'm still trying to get a better intelligence scaling sword.
Yeah, there's only 2 swords I use. The grafted sword and the blood fang for different purposes.
The grafted sword is it's fantastic though, man. That's
Well,
the Chad build is so good.
Yeah, because it knocks people on their asses. It's slow though. That's the only thing I don't like about it. It's very slow.
From what I believe, the way that you're meant to play this game, though it's not the way. Well, it's not the way you're meant to play the game, but the way the game was intended to be played by people who have played Souls games their entire lives. It was to just be using the giant two-handed weapons, no summons, no nothing, just you and a giant two-handed. Like that's the way that like the
hardcore people
the veterans are playing this game. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I am not.
But then you miss out on so much cool stuff. Like I want to do a faith. I have never done a faith build, like a proper.
I'm gonna
faith
do
build,
that.
and
I'm gonna do that next. After I beat the game, I'm gonna play New Game Plus and respec to
there's some great
Arcane Faith build.
There's some great faith stuff, man. That just looks cool as well. You know.
I'm on a strength dex build right now, so.
I have a couple of the dragon stuff, but I don't use them now because I got rid of my arcane because all the dragon abilities scale with arcane.
Yeah, I have all the dragon stuff too. I have like 6-7 dragon hearts that I do nothing with. I don't do incantations.
I still have a bunch left over.
Any spells. I don't do anything. You know what's fun is so one of my good friends recently got the game. His name's Chuck, and he's not like a big gamer, but he gets the big stuff, right? He'll play like Red Dead Redemption 2, and he loves them, but he just only has time. He's an editor, so he doesn't have time to play like every single game. But he'll get the big ones, and if I tell him, hey, this is the one you should play, he'll go and check it out. Anyway, so he just started playing. It's fascinating to see him go through the ups and downs of like starting the game, where it's like, what the hell is this? How come I can't do this? How come I can't, It's
my God. I was going to say, Dennis, your first reaction to this game for me was priceless. As someone who's used to Souls-like games,
dude,
I'm not like, I wouldn't consider myself a veteran, but I played Bloodborne, I played Sekiro, like I played a couple Souls-like games, and the way you were talking about this game, you're like, I just don't know what to do. And then literally a couple weeks went by and you were way past me. Like it was the funniest thing. You're like, I don't know what to do here, Josh.
Yeah.
You're like, I'm lost. Everything's killing me. Literally 2 weeks go by, and you're like, yeah, okay. So I'm level 80 something. Yeah. I've got this many hours in, and I'm ready, man.
You got to put in work on this game. I mean, literally, I say 25 to 30% of my time is farming. Because I just need
a lot of farming as well.
Yeah, to get.
Once I got the golden
up.
scarab, it became a bit easier. But you have to, because here's the thing: even farming, even if you're doing like cheese farming, it doesn't help you that much because skill is skill. You can have all the runes in the freaking world, and if you don't have the skill to roll at certain times or to parry at certain times, then all those runes, all those like extra skill points, they don't mean anything. You know what I mean?
Dude,
you can have 99 points in everything, and if you don't have the skill, you're still gonna die.
I finally beat that damn boss because you need that special item to go see Melina or Mequina or whatever her name is. Melania.
I don't know what
you need to beat this one commander, and the problem is he has 2 ghost knights with him at the same time, and it's like,
oh yes, I know what you're talking about.
So I'm not even joking. I think I played that boss at least 50 something times. Finally beat him. Oh my God. And I didn't use you can use a cheese way to beat him, which is like there's an item that makes the knights turn on him. And I beat him without using that. So I still use my summons though. But you have to beat that boss in order to get the item.
I use my summons all the time. Like, well, not all the time. There are some times where it's like I'll use a summon and then I'll realize I'm over leveled for the boss, and then like I'll no, I'll die on purpose and then do it without it. But most of the time I use my summons, and it's not even like because I need them, but it's because it's like they're so cool. Why wouldn't you use them? They're like it's a huge part of the game, you know. You
I
get to
just need
level
a
yourself.
distractor.
Yeah.
I need someone to distract the
My favorite summon is I have Oleg, which it took me forever to unlock Oleg because I had to clear the dungeon underneath, like the starting area. You know that like you can use the stone sword key at the starting area of the game, and then there's that area down there. If you fight that nasty slug dragon thing, I don't know what the hell it was. You kill it, you get Oleg, which is like I think it costs 100 FP points, so it costs like 100 mana just to summon him. But he's a tank. He is a tank. He's just a big knight. But even besides him, my favorite summon is actually these they're like ghost trolls. I don't know. It's like I think they're in the game.
There's so
as
many
normal people.
There's so many
It's like-
spirit ashes.
It's like this big dude with giant horns, and he has a spurred bow, and he's great for fighting dragons. Like I just summon that guy, and then like he just starts pelting the fucking dragons from the sky. It's amazing.
All right, so I guess that's it. Eventually, once I beat it and you beat it, we can do a whole spoiler review and go over like every single thing about that game. Which I'm pretty sure that review is gonna be like a 2-hour review because there's so much shit to cover there.
I heard and also it depends on what ending we're doing.
Yeah.
Like that's like I have a feeling the way that I've been struggling through this game, I don't have a choice. I'm not going to be at the end game going, I wonder what ending to get pick. I'm just going to be like, I'm just happy that there's an ending, okay? I'll take what the game throws at me.
All right, cool. I guess that's it for this episode. Thanks for watching, everyone. You subscribe to this YouTube channel, youtube.com/Revog. You can follow me on Twitter @ThinkHero, Instagram, Dennis.tzng. Josh, where can people find you?
You guys can find me on Twitch at It's Thespis, all lowercase, one word. And don't forget to subscribe to us on Spotify as well. Check us out on there.
Anchor.fm as well. In our Discord channel. Check us out there. Chat with us there. Let us know. Elden Ring. What are you doing?
Yeah, what's your build?
What's your build? And have you beat it? And are you on New Game Plus? I heard like some crazy hardcore people are like on New Game Plus 7 or whatever, and it's like
my friend's on New Game Plus 2 right now. It's insane. Oh well, before we end it as well, I will say for anybody out there looking for a new game to play that's cheap on PC, Vampire Survivors. It blew up on Steam. I think it cost $3 or less.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's like old school Castlevania graphics, not the style, but I call it Baby Hades. It's just a roguelike game. It's like Baby Hades. It's the best way to put it. Technically, you only have to use your mouse to play the game. It costs $3. It costs even less here for me. I think it costs like $1. But I finished the game in like 2 days. But it was still like the best, like the most fun 2 days I had for $2. Are you kidding me? Hell yeah! So if anybody out there that likes roguelike games, check it out. It's $3, man. It's on Steam. Vampire Survivors.
Cool. All right. Until next time, we'll see you guys later.
Later.